Right, this is how I planned my escape from the UK, step by step. And this is from absolute ground zero. Like, when I made this plan, I had absolutely nothing. Not just nothing in finances, but no confidence. I had no ability to think clearly. And I was really struggling, and I was looking at my options and I really did not see a way out. The main reason why I want to leave England, it's not necessarily because of what's going on, even though that is a big part of it, but I want to go through this forced period of change. Like, I've always wanted to move away, but I made the decision when I was 19 to go move into an office, and then I was in that office till 20, then I moved into a bigger office at 21, then I had 2 offices at that point in the same building, but I needed the space, and then I got another office at 23, so I sort of had these physical items that I was selling, you know, like I had stock in an actual business, and I was under rental agreements. So I actually started a business so I could escape, and I ended up sort of getting myself into this trap where I couldn't really leave it for more than 3 or 4 days. This wasn't the ideal situation that I wanted, and it's always been a life goal of mine to move away. And look, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of nervous, kind of not, but I've not really thought about it because I don't know what's going to happen when I get there, but I know that I'm going to be forced to live completely different. I'm going to be forced to completely upgrade my character, and every single part of my life is going to be completely different. I'm throwing myself into the deep end. I'm going to be uncomfortable, but you know what? The character that I am right now, I'm good at some things, cool, but I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I need to be. I'm not where I know that I'm capable of, and I have to force myself and jump into the deep end in order to get some drastic change. Because I know that I have to go through a different environment, I have to get out of my comfort zone to be able to do that. So this is exactly what I did, this is exactly how I'm doing it. Just saying, I'm actually still in the UK right now, but I move in 2 days, and to be in a position to be able to do it now is a blessing. It really is. I mean, I'm still taking a risk, but the situation, I was so broke at one point I couldn't even leave my house, right? Because I couldn't even spend like a little bit of money on some food. I didn't have any heating at one point, so to be able to, you know, because my boiler broke, I couldn't pay for the boiler, and I'm not going to be going and eating food and going out drinking alcohol if I've got no heating at home. You know, let's be real. And to be in that position not so long ago, now to be able to move to a different country like these, I'm doing the shit I was dreaming of, and at the time, believe me, it was so far away. It was so far away. I couldn't imagine it, and how I am, the mental headspace, and how I'm feeling about my life. I feel like I'm back again, and that's because I'm going through a big transformational period in my life. And look, if you're looking at yourself now and you're thinking, I don't really like what's going on in England, I don't like not being in control of my life, well, this is exactly how I did it, step by step. Look, the first thing is you have to go through a period of sacrifice, and this is where you're sacrificing personal relationships, you're sacrificing friendships, you're sacrificing your dating life, you're sacrificing your spending money on yourself, you're sacrificing going out and eating food, you're sacrificing seeing people, you're sacrificing family time, you're sacrificing enjoyment, and you're constantly living with the angel and the devil on your shoulder and this turmoil in your mind, because ultimately you're working towards this big goal and you're sacrificing so much and enjoying such little out of life. But it's important that you have to go through that, because if you want to get to this point where you get the freedom, you've got to go through stages, and you have to be able to create a vehicle, which is a business, right? Or something to earn your money. You're trying to create this vehicle, but you've got to build the vehicle, and you build a vehicle by sacrificing your time, sacrificing your knowledge, and sacrificing your finances, building up these assets and putting it towards one thing. Now, when you're building these assets, what you've got to understand is you're taking them from everywhere else. So if you're trying to get smart and you're reading a book on a night, for example, on a certain subject, or you're taking a course, or you're studying, you're taking that time of learning and gaining that knowledge, you're taking it away from something else, you're taking it away from Netflix. Well, you might like watching an hour's Netflix every single night. It might make you relax, you might get a bit of sleep, right? Well, that's the price you've got to pay. If you're trying to learn a business and you're trying to get to a level where you can actually create this vehicle that's going to have an impact on your life, you've got to sacrifice other areas of your life. There's no way around that. And look, I've done this before. You see on this channel, obviously I went broke. I'm very open about that. But I've done this before, and look, I did a couple million sales with my first business by doing this exact process. So I was quite pissed off actually, because I know what it takes, that's the thing, and it's difficult. It's difficult. And the fact that I'd already been through that process, it was a hard pill to swallow me doing it again. But you essentially need to go through this period where you're allocating all your attention onto this one thing. Now, you're trying to collect all these like resources, you're trying to collect them all. So you're trying to collect finances and you're trying to collect knowledge, and you're swapping your time to get those. Now, the reason why you're doing that is because you're trying to learn a business, and you're going to get to a point where you've saved a certain amount of money, whatever goal you set, and you've got a certain amount of knowledge. Now, the next stage to that is you've got to then get your time back. So if you're allocating all your time in doing hustles or working a job, doing overtime, working weekends, working night times, once you stop doing that, aka leaving the UK or staying in the UK and just moving on to a business, you're going to get your time back. Now, once you've got your time back, you're able to look at the amount of finances you've managed to get and the knowledge you've managed to get, and you can use your time, knowledge and finances and then put it towards a business. Now, for me, the business that I'm currently working on is it's a bit of a game changer right now. It's a bit of an easier business model that I'm doing now compared to the first business model that I did. The first business model that I did, I don't regret doing it because I made a lot of money and I learned a lot of things, right? But it's not really a beginner friendly one. And it's definitely not fast. It's not fast whatsoever. So it's all a game of probabilities. So what I had to do is I had to put myself in a position where I'm giving myself the best probabilities in order for the next stage to work, which is the business vehicle, right? Because I need this business to be able to live when I'm leaving England, okay? Now, we're doing online businesses on here, this channel, guys, yeah? We're talking online businesses, we make money online on here. Look, and what I'm talking about an online business. I'm talking about an online business that you can operate from anywhere. So this is what I had to plan. I planned this business and I learned this business that I can run from anywhere in the world, and I can get my time and my freedom back. So now I need that, because I need that to be able to live in a different country. Because if I've got to be to a physical location, I can't live in a different country. So this is a 3-step period. Now this period here where you're taking a risk, right? You're putting your knowledge and you're putting your finances together, but it's all about increasing probabilities. So I learned this lesson at a very young age, and this was from actually doing market stalls. So I had my own market stall. I worked for myself ever since I left college. Now, if I didn't show up to the market on time, or I didn't show up at all, then I'm not getting paid. And I could show up on time and I could show up with all the right stuff, but there's no guarantee that I'm getting paid ever. I'd have good days and bad days. However, it was my job to figure out what is the probability that I can make more money. So the probability is I bring more stock with me. The probability is I get there a little bit early. The probability is I fill my van up with fuel the night before. The probability is I speak with customers a little bit more. I try to upsell them onto extra products. I try and increase the average order value. Or I make the signs better. I make the market stall better. I make it neater. I bring more stock with me. My job is to increase the probability, because the more I can increase the probability, the better chance that I've got of making money. When you take all the risk, right, you've got the chance of making more money. And this is the difference between entrepreneurs and employees. The employees take a smaller amount, but they've got the guarantee. The entrepreneurs take the bigger risk, but they've got the chance of making more money. And let me tell you, the bigger risk, I've had times before where I've driven up to a trade show in Glasgow. I've got a van, 3 lads, staying overnight, £200 in fuel, hundreds of pounds for the stand, and I've made no money. And I've driven to the other arse end of the country to make no money. But then I've had days where I've made £19,000 in a day. That was one of my biggest days. So you could. This is what it's like being an entrepreneur. But when you increase the probabilities and you do all this extra stuff, you're increasing the chance of you making money. You're increasing the chance of your business working. Now, your best way to increase the chance and the probability is gather the resources that you have, which is your knowledge and your finances, and you use your time properly, because your time's the resource as well. But you swap in the first period, you swap the time for the knowledge and the finances. You might be thinking, knowledge on what? Well, you want to learn a business that suits what you want to do. For me, I love to travel. I want to travel and I want the freedom. I don't want to be trapped to a physical location again. So the business that I've got now is I can run it from anywhere. Okay, I can run my new business from anywhere. So I'm not tied to a physical location, and it takes a little bit less time, and it takes a lot. It doesn't take any money for me to start. So that's what I'm able to do now. And there's a lot of benefits to that, but the reason why I've chosen to do that is because one, it's what most people are doing, most of the richest guys that I know do, and two, the margins are a lot better than the first business that I had, and three, it accommodates the lifestyle that I want to live. But in order to make that work, I've got to take risk. So that's the 3 steps. Go through this hustle period, gather all the resources you can, learn about a business model that you know works. Learn about a business model from somebody who's actually been there and done it before. Take the risk, apply it, apply yourself, apply the knowledge, apply the time, put your money in, right? Just pay for somebody to teach you how, so you get there faster. But by the way, guys, all the richest people you know, they all pay for information. They all do it. It's a part of business. You got to learn that at some point. I didn't believe it at one point, but I had to start doing it. You apply it, you take the risk there, and then that gives you the ability to leave, okay? That's how I planned it. And me, when I planned that, I had 0. I had to work 2 minimum wage jobs, 80 hours a week, because I couldn't get a job, so I've never worked for anyone, and I didn't have any central heating. Yeah, that's what I had to do. That's how I made the plan. It's in that 3 steps, and if you do that, you'll be able to leave and live wherever you want. That's it.